Hi guys, it's Ian here again. One of the things I mentioned that I would show you how to do is how to georeference a image from Google Earth in QGIS. And I think it was a question that Sabelo had. She was looking to be able to reference imagery offline. So if she wasn't connected to a website, she would want to be able to still have the imagery as a background. And we can do that by saving out the Google imagery and then georeferencing it in QGIS. And we're going to use that tutorial for the imported CSV, demo CSV. We're going to use those as control points, and we're going to export those to Google Earth as a KML, and then export the imagery, and then come back into QGIS and georeference this imagery. So the idea is to use the control points or the demo CSV layer as control points, and then export and re-georeference using those as control points. And then the idea, the ultimate idea is to compare historical imagery. So this is where we'll get to by the end of this tutorial with two Google layers, Google image layers, and we can compare the two layers over a period of time. So I'll just show you how to do that quickly. I'm going to open up a new session of QGIS. Okay, and I'm going to use that tutorial 4 project, which was the new layers one, and I'm going to use the CSV. So I'm going to add that CSV again, which was, hang on a second. Okay, that's fine. I just need to go find it. It's in the table folder. There it is. Demo CSV. This wouldn't have changed. So there it is down there. I'm going to zoom to that layer. Okay, so that's the survey points that we brought in via that CSV. And I'm going to save this out as a KML. So I'm going to right click on that layer and I'm going to say save as, save features as. And then I just need to make sure I choose the right format off the bat, which is the keyhole markup language or KML. And I'm going to stick it in that same folder, in the vector folder. That's fine there. And I'm just going to call it, what are they, SG points? SG points. Not very original. You can come up with your own name for that. Okay, there we go. And the coordinate reference system, that can be the same. Actually, no, I'm going to change that to WGS 84. So 4326. So that's the geographic coordinate reference system. Everything else is fine. I don't actually need to add the file to the map afterwards. And I can click OK. And that should then export. Okay, so we've got a little message up here telling us that that has exported properly. So I can minimize QGIS. I don't need that. Now I just want to open up Google Earth. Where's my Google Earth? It's over here somewhere. Okay, Google Earth Pro. Let's open up that. And it shouldn't take too long. I don't need to see that. Okay, so let us open up that KML we've just exported. So I'm going to say open, and then just navigate to that tutorial folder. Is it in here? SG points, there it is. Okay, and then that should zoom us into our study area. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we are going to be exporting the imagery from Google Earth. And the one thing we do need to do if we are going to be exporting the imagery is to make sure that it's not being draped on any three-dimensional surface. It must be a flat image. So in order to do that, this terrain option here must be turned off. So if you've turned it back on for any reason, turn it off now. That should be off so that it's a flat image. And the other thing we wanted to do is just make sure that it's not tilting. So that was under the tools options and navigation. This radio button should be selected to make sure that it doesn't tilt when you zoom in. And then we should be directly over the center of our image, and we can export that. Okay, and the cool thing with having exported the SG points, we are going to use those as our control points when we do the georeferencing. But I don't like the little icon that it uses. This little drawing pin icon for a pin board, I kind of have to guess where the center of it is. So I just want to change that icon by selecting properties and style and color. Maybe I need to go one level down. Let's just expand this. Still not letting me change the icon. Don't tell me I have to change every single one. Just try and figure this out. Okay, so I was a little worried there that I would have to change every single one separately. But if I go to the group KML, I should be able to change it from properties. And then if I select style, color, and share style, I should be able to now choose the one style for all. There we go, and it has changed. And I'm just going to change this to yellow so that it sticks out. Okay, alright, so there we've got our points that we're going to use for the control points. Okay, so let's export this image, and to do that I'm going to just take away the control panel or the layers here. Okay, that's still centralized. And then, oh, you know what I need to do? I need to turn off the roads. I don't want to see anything else. You may want to leave some labels on here, but in this example I just want to export that as is. And I'm going to say File, Save, Save Image. And now's your option to set the image resolution and then to turn various objects on or off. I don't want to see any of this other text and what is that little compass in the top right hand corner. And I'm going to choose the maximum resolution. And now you'll see when I chose the maximum resolution, the little Google signature went quite small. And I'm going to say Save Image. And let's go pop it in that tutorial folder. It was this one again. Have I got a raster? I do have a raster. So what are we calling this one? Google 2018? Or is it 2019? Let's call it that. And then click Save, and then that should export as a new JPEG image. Okay, so that has now exported for 2019. And before we move on, I'm just going to do a nifty little thing. I'm going to roll back the imagery date to a more historical image and export that one as well, and show you how that works. If you select this little one that's got a little, it looks like a little arrow, implying that that's a little back in time arrow, and then scroll this all the way back to somewhere down here. Okay, we've got it back to 2001, and let's export that. Now we're going to save that same image as 2001. Let that run through. So now we've got two images, and in between exporting those two images, just make sure you do not move or pan the drawing, because what we're going to do is we're going to use the same georeferencing file to georeference both images. So when you export them, just make sure that you don't pan. I have now exported both images from 2019 and 2002, so it doesn't matter. But in between exporting them, make sure you haven't moved it like I'm doing now. I didn't, so it's not a problem. Okay, so we are pretty much done with Google Earth. Let's leave Google Earth. Shall we close it down? Yeah, let's close it down. We don't need the places. Right, so now back in QGIS. We are going to georeference that first image. So we want to turn on our little georeferencer. So if you've turned it off for whatever reason, you need to activate it via the Manage and Install plugins, and you go and you choose the Georeferencer GDAL, and it's already or still open as a plugin for ours, so we'll just turn it on. Okay, and then we're going to choose the snapping options. We want to snap to the demo CSV. All the default settings are fine. We're going to turn on that new image, or add that new image, which we saved to our raster folder, and I don't see it. And I don't see it because I'm looking in the wrong folder. So this is the problem when you've got two folders named the same thing. You can get confused. Okay, so I'm going to the tutorial folder on my desktop, which is where I think I must have saved it. Okay, there they are there. So I'm just going to start off with this Google 2019 one and add that. Okay, and if I zoom in, I should be able to see the little place marks that I added. Yes, okay, there they are. So these place marks are going to be all over our drawing now, which have been pulled through from that SG diagram. So let's start out with something down here. Okay, there's one there I can see. So this bottom left hand corner is going to be our first one. So let's zoom in there. pretty much in the middle. I want to place my control point as close to the middle of this point as I can, or this little diamond. And then I am going to choose the option to select from canvas. And with my snapping options, this makes life really easy. We don't have to zoom in. You see that little, I don't know if you can see it because I think my cursor is highlighted, but there is a little magenta snapping option which snaps in when we're about 12 pixels away from this point. So then you can select the map and say OK. I'll use this button to zoom to the full extent of our image again. And the next one can be this one here, which is this point A. If I remember correctly, that's point A. So we want to add a new point in the middle of that. From canvas, snap to OK. Zoom to full extent. Okay, so we got there and there, and remember I said for control points to give you a decent georeferencing, you need to try and spread them out so they shouldn't be concentrated around one point. So maybe this one up here would be a good one to choose, which is the equivalent to this one down here. See those? We've got those two on top of each other. So those two there. So I'm going to choose. In fact, I'm going to choose the one on the right-hand side. This one here. Okay, as close to the center of my place mark as possible. And then I'm going to say from map canvas, and it was that one. Okay, so we can just add one more and then we should be done. This one at the bottom here sitting on its own. Let's add that one. So we should have a fairly decent spread of these control points. And you can create your own control points using a little point file. We exported the SG coordinates or the SG points, but you can create your own little point file as well. Okay, so there we go. Let's zoom to the full extent. We should have 4 which are fairly well spread out across our little image, and there they are. Now I just want to change the transformation settings, and I think during the tutorials we chose polynomial 1. In this example I'm going to choose linear, and then I do not want an output raster. I'm going to choose create a world file. So this is going to generate a little text file, and it's just going to stick it in the same folder as our image and should help us reference that image. Load in QGIS when done. Yes, we can choose that option. The projection and the target reference system, that is fine as well. Let's say OK. Alright, so once again, all I've done is set the transformation settings. I haven't actually run the georeferencing yet. To do that, I need to click on this little green arrow. So we click on that green arrow, and there we go. And if we look at this image, it looks like they're lining up with the points we added. There's a slight. It actually looks all right. Okay, so there we go. We can actually close down our georeferencer now. And if we open up the tutorials folder, it's a desktop. I must remember that. It's on the desktop, and we go to module 2. I'm looking for that world file, and there it is. Okay, so let's open this to show you exactly what this is. And it is a little text file. So all I've done is I just used a text editor. You don't have to do this, but I'm just showing you. I used a text editor to open up this WLD or world file. And that's what it is. So here's the tricky part. Well, not a tricky part, but here's the nifty trick I can show you. We want to use, remember, when I exported from Google Earth, I didn't change how far I'd zoomed in Google Earth, and I hadn't panned the image. I just exported 2 images with the same, from the same viewpoint, but with different years. Okay, so the only difference here is they're different years, and I've given them different names. So theoretically speaking, if I duplicate this world file, say copy and paste, okay, and then just rename this to 2001, so it's got the same name as our older imagery, then when we add that to a new view, it should be in the exact same place. So let's put that little trick into practice and see if it does work. So if we add that layer, we go to Open Data Source Manager, adding a raster, and we want to go have a look for that folder quickly, or that new raster. It's over here somewhere. Raster. There it is, 2001. Open, add, and close. There it is. Okay, so now if you flick between the two, you can get an idea of what has changed in the period between 2001 and 2019. So what's that, 18 years? So within 18 years, this is what's happened on that site. So this is quite a nice way for you, for one, to store imagery on your computer and view it offline. But then also, I think, Sabella, you were mentioning you're going to be comparing historical imagery quite a lot. And this is a great way for you to compare historical Google imagery. So if Google imagery has a nice spread, historical spread, you can do this type of thing and map the change across a period of time. And that's how you do that. One last thing you might want to do, when we added these layers, we saw that little orange message at the top there said there's no coordinate reference system defined. What you can do is assign it this coordinate reference system. So if you just right click on the actual images and you just say set layer CRS, and then just go and choose 4326 and do the same for the other one. 4326, okay. And then if you change this projection to something else, like which one did we use? 29. I keep zooming past it. I think it's up there somewhere. There it is. There. We apply that. Okay, so it's flipped it over. But at least the imagery is being projected to the right place. If we didn't assign a projection to these, we wouldn't be able to change this projection. I don't think they would reference to the right place. So that's just the reason why I assigned it a coordinate reference system. And that's how you do that. So yeah, comparing historical imagery and georeferencing Google imagery in QGIS. I hope that helps you guys. Good luck with it. Give me a shout if you have any other queries. Cheers.